Really? We are really doing this again. Alright then. Hi, how you doing? This is the Gamertron, and welcome back to the Gamertron Show. For those of you unaware, the old violent video game debate has started up again. The APA, this month, August 2015, the American Psychological Association released a report with the title of APA Review Confirms Link Between Playing Violent Video Games and Aggression. AKA, violent video games cause violence and make people violent. We're doing this again. Look, I could beat the dead horse, I could sound like a broken record, and I could just repeat what all the other critics are saying, that the task force set up in the American Psychological Association to perform this report, to perform this review, were already negatively biased against violent video games. Look, I would recommend watching Review Tech USA's video and GameSpot's recent reality check video on the same subject matter. They will go into far more details into why the review and the team who wrote the review, who performed the review, were in fact wrong. However, since this topic keeps coming up, I might as well keep talking about it. It is worth a discussion, it is worth a debate. It is an interesting topic to talk about, so let's talk about it. First, let's get the obvious common sense details out of the way. Does playing a violent video game transform you into a violent person and make you want to hurt other human beings? If I'm playing Call of Duty and I'm shooting Nazis, evil Russians, and terrorists, does that make me want to grab a gun and all of a sudden start shooting random people, going on a shootout rampage? No, it does not. Video games do not have this magic power that somehow makes you want to hurt other human beings. Can playing a violent video game, or any video game for that matter, I'm not just talking M-rated for mature adult-only video games, I'm talking T for teen, E for everyone kind of games. Can any video game make you aggressive, make you angry, even violent? Oh hell yes! Video games do not make you a violent person, they not make you want to hurt other people. Video games themselves alone do not transform a person into a murderer or serial killer. Can video games make you angry, aggressive, violent? Hell yes, but that's not because of the video game. That is completely on the person who is playing said video game. Violence, anger, they're a choice. They're not forced upon you. They are human emotions, and every single human emotion is by choice. Yes, things happen that influence you, that influence your emotions, that could influence you to be sad, angry, or happy, but in the end, however you're feeling and whatever you do is your choice. But there are also people with psychological issues out there who can't comprehend, who can't understand morals. And then there's evil pigs out there, evil sons of bitches who just don't care about morals and are completely selfish and violent because that's the kind of person they are. Look, the human race as a whole, the human race in general, and I can't believe I need to say this, we are a violent species, we are a violent society. As a matter of fact, all animals. We may be on top of the food chain, we may be the most intelligent, but in the end, human beings are animals, and we have base instincts, violent ones. Now, while I would like to think that a majority of the people on this earth have self-control and kindness and selflessness, there are just as many selfish, violent people out there. The human race is violent, and our entertainment, movies, plays, video games reflect that. Shakespeare hasn't been around for centuries, and no one's ever blamed Shakespeare and his works for making people violent. Film, violent movies have been around for decades. We don't see organizations like the APA or the media talk about how violent movies may influence people. Oh, no. It's not the violence that just all around us. It's not the violence in our entertainment in general. No, it's just video games. It's all video games' fault. Please, now, let's be real. I'm going to talk from personal experience here. I play a lot of violent video games. As a matter of fact, most video games that appeal to me are violent video games. I have played well over 100, hell, maybe well over 200 violent video games, maybe even more. And after playing all of these violent video games, I have never gone out there and committed a violent crime. I have never hurt another human being because I was like, ooh, I punched that guy in a video game. I should go punch someone else in real life. Nope, never. That's not me. That's not the kind of person I am. And believe it or not, millions of people play violent video games, and you don't see them committing violent crimes. If all these supposed reviews and reports from organizations like the APA were true that violent video games cause violent behavior, we would be living in a friggin' Mad Max world, post-apocalypse, crazy people, bandits, killers running around due to the millions of people who play violent video games. I mean, come on now. The only time in my life I've ever been violent to another human being is when that human being was violent to me. They started it. As childish as they sound, they perpetrated. They forced me to react violently because they were being violent. But hey, that's just me. But to say that violent video games don't make us violent, don't make us angry, that's not true. We're all subject to influence. And if we're playing a very difficult, hard video game, it's challenging, we're losing, we're dying, having to restart the same level over and over again, that's gonna be frustrating. That's gonna get people angry. But that's not restricted to violent video games. That's like with any video game, even a children's game. An adult playing a children's game can get angry and frustrated. Can video games cause anger? Absolutely. Can movies cause anger? Absolutely. Does alcohol cause anger? You know it does. Do sports cause anger? Oh, you know they do. Look, our base forms of entertainment, of media, movies, sports, books, and yes, of course, video games. What are the most popular series, IPs, franchises in those different forms of entertainment? Violent. The violent ones are on top. Look at how successful certain horror movie franchises are. Look at how successful blockbuster action movies are. And action, what does action require? Action requires violence, explosions, gunfire, maybe some blood. Oh, and do I even have to mention that some of the most popular novels and television shows are some of the most violent things out there? Say hello to The Walking Dead and Game of Thrones. Now, I'm not calling those types of media bad. I'm not calling these franchises or IPs bad. Not at all. But saying, watching, and viewing these forms of entertainment, these media, create violent people that turn people violent, that's not true. If you're a violent person, you're a violent person. That's who you are. If seeing something that angers you or frustrates you makes you want to hurt another human being, then that's part of you. That's part of the person you are. That's your psychological makeup. Now there's an other side to this debate, and that's children, or even young adults playing violent video games and how that may influence them as people, or teach them how to behave in the real world. Well, I think this picture right here just perfectly describes what's really going on here. So, here's a dad, here's a father, in a principal's office with his son. His son has done something very naughty, very violent. He gets into a discussion with the principal, and the topic comes up that little Timmy plays violent video games. Maybe that's why he's acting so violent and naughty at his young age. The dad is outraged. How could violent video games do this to my son? Video games are supposed to be a kid's toy. Why they make them so violent? It's the video game's fault my kid is so angry and aggressive and yells at the top of his lungs, "Die and kill." I must protest these despicable violent video games. Oh, little Timmy wants a new video game. Here's that game you wanted, son. Thanks, Pops. Uh-oh, it looks like the dad's made a mistake. If you didn't notice there, it looks like that game is rated M, for mature, for young adults and adults. Now look, I'm not a parent, but I would like to think I grew up with some awesome parents that taught me Parenting 101 and Right from Wrong. Now, this is a young adult talking to other adults, and I would like to teach you what my parents taught me. Do your research. Actually, teach your kid. Don't expect the world to teach your son or daughter right for wrong. You are the parent. It is your job to parent your child, to teach them, to do research on stuff you don't know about, to learn alongside them so that you are not ignorant to something that could be harmful to them, and they are not ignorant to something that could harm them. Now, my parents introduced me to violent media at I'd say decent age, around 11 and 12 years old. They had taught me right from wrong. They made sure to know what I was comfortable with and what I wasn't comfortable with, and they slowly introduced me to the adult world of entertainment. And I am not talking about that other adult world of entertainment, if you know what I mean. I'm talking about violence. I'm talking about violent media. I'm talking about violent video games and violent movies. I saw Saving Private Ryan at a very young age. That movie is rated R for a reason. But my parents made sure to teach me that, one, the violence in movies and video games and in media and entertainment, the violence presented is not real. It's similar to real-world violence, but some violent media is unrealistic and kind of silly and cartoony, while others try to be more realistic. But in the end, keep in mind that none of it is real, and if you find it disturbing and if it bothers you, you won't need to watch it, we can stop. And if you're comfortable with it, you're comfortable with it. But always keep in mind this violence on display is for entertainment, for fun. It gives us the ability to witness something violent and dangerous from the comfort of our own homes and feel that adrenaline, feel that excitement in the dangerous moments. But in the end, while this violence is entertaining, real-world violence like this is wrong, should be discouraged, looked down upon. That is how I was taught. However, there are a few certain parents out there who are being irresponsible parents. If you're going to introduce your child to violent media, you better make precautions, because as a child, you are still learning, you are still developing, you are still learning right from wrong, you are still forming who you are as a person, and as a parent, you need to be there for your child as they develop so that they know basic rights from wrong. Now, all this exposition has been building up to this. Read the damn rating on the box, or the cover, or whatever. Books, comic books, movies, video games, they all have a rating system. If you don't want your child, your young child, to be watching, playing, or reading something that is violent and usually aimed at adults, then make sure you know what you're getting them before you buy it for them. The only way these kids have access to these violent video games, let's stick on video games for now and not the other stuff, the only way for a child to be playing a violent, M-rated, for adults video game is if an adult purchases for them. Little Tommy or Lucy can't go into a video game store and buy an M-rated game. The staff won't allow it because of the rating system. The only way your kid could play a violent video game is if an adult gets it for them. If you don't want your child to be exposed to adult media, then don't enable them, because you are enabling them by buying them these immature video games, which are meant for young adults and adults. How about if you're buying a new video game for your kid, you take some time out of your day to stop watching the same old TV shows, stop talking to your friends on the phone, and maybe take some time out of your free time to play a new video game that you bought for your child to see if it's actually appropriate for your child? Look, the point is, be a parent. The only way kids have access to violent video games is through you, the parent. Be the responsible adult. Don't blame the companies who make entertainment for adults that your child is experiencing this adult entertainment. Look, an M-rated video game is the same as an R-rated movie. Video games have evolved. They've grown. This isn't the 1980s anymore. Video games are not all about Pong, Pac-Man, and Mario. Video games, like any form of entertainment or media, has grown up. There are video games for adults now. Video games are not a kid's toy anymore. As a parent, you need to get with the times, you need to do your research. It is your duty as a parent to parent your child. Do not blame the world. Do not blame other people for your child's behavior. If your child is acting rudely or negatively, it's either because the child wants to act that way, or as a parent, you have not been paying attention to your child's life. Look, violent video games can make people violent, but they don't turn them into crazed killers. Video games can make people angry, just as how getting drunk can make you angry. Watching a sport or participating in a sport that you are passionate about can get you angry. People get angry. I get angry. And it's alright to be angry sometimes. It's what we do with that anger that help defines the kind of people we are. It's our self-control, how we are built, who we are as people, how our brains are wired. Look, there are violent people out there. There are always going to be violent people out there. They're not going away anytime soon. There is no scapegoat. There's nothing you can blame. You can't blame the media. You can't blame video games. You can't blame movies. You can't blame television. In the end, what causes violence? People. Choices. The choices people make cause violence. Yes, there are stuff that can influence people's choices, but in the end, violence, anger, abuse. That's all a human choice. That's all a human decision. If tomorrow I get out of bed, go out on the street, and just punch some random person, that was my choice. I decided to do that. I decided to act violently. It's not the video game's fault. It wasn't a movie I've watched fault. It wasn't some book that I've read fault. It is my fault. I am responsible. I am responsible for my own actions, period. Hey, media. Hey, APA. Hey, governments of the world. How about instead of looking for a scapegoat to blame violent behavior on, how about we just accept the fact that there are violent, evil people out there who want to harm others because they can, because they want to. There is no source. There is no evil force that makes people do violent things. People do violent things because that's the kind of person they are. If I hurt someone, you blame me. You don't blame a video game. The video game is an inanimate object. I, you, we are living people, and that's all there is to it. Whoo! And if you think this is over, this ain't over yet. This is just part 1. There will be a second part to this video, to this debate, to this conversation very soon. However, in the meantime, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you guys will check out the second part of the old violent video games debate. I hope you will check out the other videos provided by Review Tech USA and GameSpot talking about the APA and their violent video game report. I hope you will check out those videos. I hope you will support this video by leaving a comment and letting me know your thoughts, feelings, and opinions on violent video games, on the APA's report, and just violent people in general. Your opinion on violence, violence in the media, violence in society. I'd love to hear your thoughts, feelings, and opinions in the comment section below. I love reading comments. I don't get nearly enough comments. Please leave a comment. And if you liked the video, if you enjoyed the gameplay I presented, or if you enjoyed my commentary, my opinions, if you find the video some way enjoyable, thought-provoking, if you thought it was worth your time, maybe hit the like button. Hitting the like button helps you, helps me, helps everybody involved in the video if you hit the like button. And finally, I am the Gamertron. I love video games, and I love talking about video games, even if I have to talk about the negative stuff from time to time. Still love video games, still love talking about the positives. And if that's something that interests you, maybe consider supporting my channel by subscribing to me. Anyways, guys, this has been a video, and I will see you guys later.